What would you do if you suddenly found yourself just feet away from the largest living creature on Earth? Captain Ahab, watch out.
With nature, it's unpredictable. You never know what might happen.
Rick and Susie Coleman of Garden Grove, California, have been together for more than a decade and share a mutual passion for kayaking through the Southern California bight of the Pacific Ocean.
I used to row for a year at Long Beach State.
Over the past few years, they've gone on countless day-long kayaking adventures together, often paddling out several miles from the Santa Monica Bay.
I always say a prayer when I'm paddling out, and ask God watch over us.
We've been out to all the Channel Islands and kayaked around the Channel Islands, and it's just beautiful being on the water. The thing I like the most about kayaking is being out in nature and seeing all the wildlife. One day we were surrounded by thousands of dolphins. Another day some sea lions came around the kayak, so I dove in and swam with them, and they were real playful. So and every time you're on the water, it's just something unusual and remarkable, so it's just a joy being out there.
But whenever Rick and Susie are out in deep waters, several miles from shore, they can't help but hope to one day get lucky and get an up-close view of the giant blue whale.
Some weekends were hit or miss. You got to get incredibly lucky to have one come near you.
They're usually off in the distance, and you just kind of yearn to be closer to them, because it's just an amazing encounter.
It's early October 2011. Rick and Susie spend the morning paddling out roughly 6 miles into the Pacific when Rick gets an unexpected greeting.
And all of a sudden I hear, wait, was that me or did I just hear a whale? So then turn around and then I heard it again. And so yeah, sure enough, a whale had just surfaced not too far behind me. And that's when out of nowhere it came into the big lunge feed right next to the kayak. And that was really exciting because that's the closest, most exciting moment I've had with a whale. Now when I was on top of the water and you have the whale surfacing near you, that's real exciting.
Moments later, Rick does what few would dare to do. He attempts to get even closer by climbing out of his kayak into the ocean with a minicam strapped to his forehead, all to get an underwater shot of this mammal that is roughly as long as 3 school buses.
Really peaceful. It was a peaceful, magical moment.
Rick finds himself face to face with Old Big Blue, a rare occurrence for even the most faithful whale watchers.
You try and look at conditions before you go out. So many factors need to come together when you're on your kayak because the whale needs to be approaching you. That's a long shot. And so it seemed like a 1,000,000 to 1 shot, but you kind of make your own luck. So I had my fins on and mask and snorkel around my neck and GoPro camera running.
Rick gets the shot he wants, but according to the National Marine Fisheries Service, vessels should get no closer than 100 yards to the whales, nor should they interrupt a whale's swim patterns.
Don't feel like we're altering their behavior at all. They seem to totally accept all the paddleboarders and kayakers in the area as part of their environment. So yeah, so the whale's the most important thing.
After celebrating with exuberance, Rick posts his video online. But immediately afterward, he's informed by someone at the National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration that his once-in-a-lifetime experience will remain exactly that, a one-time deal.
And he asked, for safety reasons to refrain from swimming with the whales, again, also not wanting to encourage others, and requested that I post a disclaimer on my website, which I did. So I put on there, I don't recommend doing this, and I also posted a link to the NOAA guidelines. My one concern is that not wanting to encourage anybody else to cross the line into anything that would be construed as harassment.
Their blue whale kayaking experience receives more than 1 million hits. And in some ways, Rick and Susie feel that they fulfilled a lifelong dream.
How many people get to see the world's largest animal on the planet, bigger than dinosaurs, and to have that moment with them, and you want to, I get emotional because you just want to connect with them.
It was really exciting, and then a few minutes later it really kind of set in. It was like, wow, again, did that really just happen?
Unbelievably, it happens again. Another rare encounter with not 1 whale, but 2, this time up north along the California coast in Santa Cruz.
In 20, 30 years, they'd never seen anything like it.
It's late October 2011, and friends Barbara Retker and Adam Lacey spot several humpback whales in the Monterey Bay practicing a group feeding technique called bubble net feeding, where the whales blow bubbles around schools of fish, creating a food ball.
that food ball moves around like a lava lamp would move around. So the whale will then come from up underneath and come up in the middle of that ring of bubbles with the mouth open.
Like many whale watchers in the area, Barb and Adam rent a kayak and paddle around the bay. Having no luck spotting any humpbacks, they begin paddling back to shore.
I saw these birds. I'm like, let's just go on over there. It was out off the shore. And lo and behold, there was a whale. We got maybe 3 spouts or something, and we were so ecstatic.
But I was watching where they had been previously, and then all of a sudden they came up. We weren't expecting that at all.
And the next thing you know, they're coming right next to me.
Barb decides to focus in on a woman wearing a bikini and lying on a surfboard.
The reason I was filming her is because she wasn't wearing a wetsuit, and the water is freezing here. It's like ice water year-round. So I was like, look at her without a wetsuit. So I had my camera on her, and boom, out of the water come these 2 humpbacks lunge feeding.
Barb's perfect positioning and steady hand help her capture a stunning moment, rarely seen. Her video of this spontaneous humpback lunge brings perspective to the enormity of this marine mammal.
Having that woman and the kayakers in the background gives you some perspective of how huge they are. Their 80,000 pounds are coming up out of the water next to a human. You realize, wow, they are huge, magnificent animals.
But Barb's next thought is not far behind.
I could see they were coming straight up, and they were going straight down, and I realized, you know what, this is a little too close for comfort. It's time to get out of here.
Barb and Adam paddle back safely, having been up close and personal with these 40-ton behemoths. When Barb posts the video online, it immediately goes viral, garnering more than 7 million hits with lots of surprising viewer input.
We got all kind of comments from, wow, oh my God, to this is fake. Where's the wake from the whale? And it got out of control. I just finally just took it down. You know, just let the footage speak for itself.
Barb is in disbelief about the close encounter. Yet after her experience, she's still torn about the relationship she and other whale watchers have with these marine mammals.
It was really a tug of war of wanting to be close to them and at the same time knowing, hey, we're in their space.